So why did I choose this topic? You all know the topic, right? The world responds to your vibration. And I chose it because it's something that I'm also currently working on. And actually I'm reading up about it. It just so happened I picked up that book. And I think it's an evergreen subject, which means that, any time of your life or in any life, whether it's Brahmin or Lokik, it's a very relevant subject. Now, I think we have an advantage on this because the way to create our reality is by creating the right thought. And this is something we are doing on a daily basis, right? Just think about it when we meditate, when we kind of self-realize, when we become soul conscious, then we connect with Baba. But again, in what relationship we connect with Baba? So all the time we are becoming aware of our identity, of our mind, the quality of our thinking. And so many times it makes me wonder that why is it that Brahmins cannot have what they really want? So let's start with money, right? Because Brahmins need money just as everybody else needs money. So sometimes I hear, I don't have money and therefore I can't go to Madhuban. Now, okay, you might say there are some really poor countries, but I feel it's not always about money. It's about maybe creating some very cooperative, loving relationships whereby, let me give you an example actually. So again, I won't go into the detail, it's not necessary, but there was somebody living in another country and she had she has two young daughters, and she just happened to be helping somebody, right? He was an elderly man, nothing impure. He was just not able to get to places. And so out of the goodness of her heart, she would say, okay, I can take you or I can make time. And just showing that love and concern. And this person is a Brahmin, right? And the daughters were young and studying, but still she was juggling all this, her daughters, her work, and then trying to help where she could. Can you believe when the man left his will, he left a big chunk of the money to her. And that enabled her to get a house in another country. So this is the kind of thing I mean, that it's not necessarily that you have to get the money, but you can attract wealth in some way by your good deeds, by your positive, powerful energy. And therefore, you create your reality. Just a couple of other things before I move on to the PowerPoint. So have you wondered, like, you can walk into a room and nobody's talking. It's a room of, say, 10, 15 people at least, a good number of people. You walk into the room, you feel the silence, you sense the silence, and you can pick up whether the energy is of tension, conflict, hatred. You can pick up whether that silence is of fear. You can pick up whether that silence is of a surprise, like maybe they're going to give you a surprise birthday party, and that's why everybody's quiet. So there's the silence, but that silence carries a vibration. And that vibration is the result of those people and their thoughts and their collective energy, which I'll explain in a minute. The other thing I wanted to say as a preface is Dadi Janki. Dadi Janki, who, overtly, I mean, she admitted that she doesn't think herself to be beautiful. She's short, she's chubby, doesn't have a degree or a peace prize or anything. And yet she walks into a room and wow, like she's like a bomb of energy. What are people picking up from her? It's not her white robes, right? It's the energy, it's the attitude with which she walks into that room. And that attitude is saying, yeah, I'm God's child. Actually, that is, this is another thing I've been practicing. I am God's child. I'm Baba's child. Because some time back, Jayanti Ben said this is one of the greatest self-respect points. And so, yeah, I've been practicing that too. But anyway, you practice some of the things I'm going to be sharing and just see if it works for you or not. So the idea of this talk, presentation is, I hope by the end of it, for you to see how you can take charge of your energy, your vibration. You can raise your vibration to then attract the right response. And right meaning whatever's appropriate for you. Not right in the sense of what's right or wrong, but really what your soul needs. And I hope you begin to feel a sense of that. This sense of I have the power to create my reality. So let's begin with this. Just 1 second to move this. Okay, yeah. So the topic is the world responds to your vibration. And I like PowerPoint because I'm a visual person and sometimes people are visual and these things can, stay with you. Okay. So yeah, what is vibration? So again, I'd like you to just look around you and everything that you're seeing, and you can even touch and feel, everything is matter, but that matter is vibrating an energy. So we talk of plants vibrating energy, but at the same time, we also vibrate from ourselves. We are a kind of orb of light that is vibrating. So we often talk of food and water also having a high energy. And so that is the result of, again, how we have prepared the food. You all know about that. If you've prepared it in anger, then what's going to be. And this morning we were talking about how, even if it's BK food, but it is being sold, then again, what's the vibration of that food? Or all the people that looked at that food and said, oh, yeah, that's nice, but I can't afford it. Or, oh, I'd like that, but I can't eat it.
Enerji ne olur, nasıl olur onu da biliyoruz değil mi?
Okay. So our vibrations speak.
Titreşimlerimiz konuşmaktadır.
So our vibration.
Peki.
There is some problem with translation. We can hear somebody else. We cannot hear Aruna.
Okay.
Let's try.
Yeah. So back to that example I was sharing with you that, when you also walk into that room, that's a quiet, silent room, then your vibration is actually speaking before you even open your mouth. So let's say you enter that room with some energy. And sometimes I can see, like I'm sitting in presentation room and, people come rushing or they're stressed or anxious and they sit behind me and you can just feel that the vibe of anxiousness or tiredness or stress just by the weight of their energy, the weight of their being. So this is kind of what I mean. Our vibration speaks before our words. So spiritual vibrations are that unseen energy created by the quality of our consciousness. Just let that sink in for a minute. Spiritual vibrations are the unseen energy created by the quality of our consciousness. And they shape the atmosphere around us and influence how the world responds to us. So here's an iceberg, right? Some of you might have seen it before, or seen my one, I mean. Okay, so let's say that the air is moving from left to right, and the water's moving, the water current is moving right to left. So which direction is the iceberg moving? You can write it in the chat. You can't speak. Anyway, I'm sure you're with me. So basically, it's going in the direction of the water, right? It's going in the direction of the water because the greater mass of the iceberg is under the water. If that mass was above, then it would move in that direction. So if we take this metaphor, then this is what is seen, right? Our words, our actions, our habits, our character. But what is not seen is what's inside, which is our attitude, perception, feelings, beliefs, thoughts. Now, this sum combination and more, right, actually creates the quality of our consciousness. So our vibration is driven by the quality of what's inside, not what's outside. This is the result of what's inside. So if you're feeling good, yeah, positive words, kind words, right? If you're feeling full, you're generous, you're giving. If you're feeling empty, well, let's look at that. So yeah, the metaphor, sorry. Yeah. So the metaphor here being that, yeah, as you sow, so you reap, right? So again, there could be a list of these things. If I lie, then I will be lied to because that's what I've planted. So that's what I'm reaping. If I love, then I will be loved. If I cheat, I will be cheated. If I criticize, then I will be criticized. If one gives peace, they receive peace, and so on, right? So this is actually, this is from the Bible, the slogan from the Bible, that whatever so a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Now, again, as I said, some of these are all basic things, but they're good revision leading up to what I'm going to share after. And that is that every thought that we think, every word we speak, every action is a subtle energy that we are emitting. So even as I said, we're not speaking, but we enter a room quietly, we are walking in with our some combination of energy. And that's why sometimes people get, in fact, just I was somewhere and somebody, just yesterday, that's right. So anyway, I was in a whatever workshop with somebody, and they said that 20 years ago, they were very scared of me and they really kept away from me. And I said, whoa, like, I can't believe that. Like, why would somebody be scared of me, right? But anyway, yeah, maybe it's the energy I emit, I accept, but that's not my intention, right? But he said it was a very strong feeling of authority. So anyway, okay, Om Shanti, I accept. And that was a workshop where, they could tell you what they wanted and all you can do is say thank you. So you guys should do that where you can't defend or you can't, say what you think. So you allow them to say what they want to say. Yeah, so then whatever we give to the world reflects that back to us. Okay, so here's a question now. What is your vibration? Just take a moment to think about it. And if there was a scale of, like, let's say 1 to 10. So let's say 1 being very high, very good, and 10 being low energy. So just check yourself. How would you grade your vibration? What do you think you are? And right now, yeah, right now. And I always say, don't just think good or bad. Try to zoom more into a particular feeling. So it's not just happy, but yeah, elated, excited. Okay, so let's look at this then. So here we are. We have a gradient of high energy, low energy. So high energy vibration, right? I'm trying to go slow, is produced by our positivity. So anytime you feel love, sympathy, confidence, gratitude, you are producing a high frequency vibration. And these light bouncing vibrations make you feel more energetic and cheerful. And the opposite, your vibration drops when you feel anxiety, anger, fear, jealousy, or hatred. And think about it. What do we mean that your vibration drops? It means your will to do something, your determination, your even sense of self, the confidence, all this drops when you start, like, let's say even anger or jealousy. As soon as we start feeling that, we don't like ourselves because we know that that's not what we want to be. Right? So according to the theory of spiritual vibration, you are more likely in this upper high energy to attract then positive situations. And according to the low energy, you will attract more negative situations. So it really pays to think positive. It really pays to keep your vibration high. And then that is what you're emitting, and that is what is resonating back. So as I was saying, yeah, what is consciousness? Consciousness is the inner state of the soul. Right? We use these words lightly, and then we keep saying soul consciousness. But let's really try to go into the experience of soul consciousness. It's when I have the whole thing in my control, which is my thoughts, my feelings, my intentions. So I've actually created an acronym while I was doing this. So it's FITAB, yeah? Your feelings, your intentions, your thoughts, your attitude, awareness, and beliefs. And that shapes how you see yourself and the world. So again, very high soul consciousness. Again, let's look at Baba, Mama, let's look at the ancestor souls. You know, they had such little when they went out on service. But then it was here that they had such an elevated consciousness. And because of that, that's why help came. That's why people felt, okay, let's help these pure Kumaris. Let's give them somewhere to stay. Why? Even the conductor on the train. It's not just he felt sorry for them, but he felt their purity. So all of that is creating a resonance. Okay? And that's going to attract stuff to us. So yeah, the quality of our consciousness determines the vibration we radiate. So, how's he feeling? Do you see what he's doing? He's taking a selfie while he's being shot. And do you know this? How are you reading it? I don't know for those who don't understand English, but is it that happiness is nowhere? Or happiness is now here? So anyway, this is just an example of one quality, right? So imagine if I had all the qualities, what would be the state of my mind? That's the point. Just added that for a bit of humor. Whoops, sorry. I don't know why that's there. Okay. So, as I was saying, the quality of our consciousness determines the vibration we radiate. So here I want to give an example of tennis. So I don't know if anyone was watching that game last night between Djokovic and Felix. Now, what happened is they were both playing so good, right, in the first set. And they were neck to neck, one game, and then the tiebreaker. And then Felix, he lost the set. He lost the set. Djokovic won the set. And then what happened? Felix's energy. Now, you see, we couldn't quite see it. Like we could see, yeah, he's missing a few points. But because Wimbledon has a way of catching the stats, the facts, they could see how his serve quality dropped, and they could see how, the mileage of his strokes, how hard he hit them, all that dropped. So what's happening? What's happening is, up until that point, he's thinking, I can do it, I can do it. And then the moment he lost, it's so subtle, right? But as I said, all this AI and technology can catch it. And really, from the little that I've seen of tennis, it really is a mind game. And that's why these, senior players keep winning, because they just keep their mind very focused. If they're losing, they don't say, I'm losing. They just get on to the next point, get on to the next thing. What is it that I need to do? So creating a strong mind, a strong consciousness, a strong will is so important to determining our confidence, our sense of self. And only we can do that job, right? Nobody can do this for us. Sure, sitting in Baba's company helps, having lots of yoga helps, but at the end, it's us with our mind energy. So, yeah, the world is responding to us, right? The world is always responding to us. So you smile at someone and they smile back. You get defensive and so do they. But I don't want you to see it like that. I want you to see that what we're trying to do as we use each and every energy is we're trying to stay in that high energy. And this is what I always say, when we are in yoga with Baba, then Baba is that highest vibrating frequency who is really free from any of this material karmic web or any other energy of greed or lust or anger. He's really beyond that. Beyond that in the sense of in the other world, but also he himself is such a pure vibrating force. And so what are we doing? When we are sitting with Baba, we are activating our qualities. That's why we have to sit with him more if we are to activate more qualities. So this is why I'm saying kindness awakens kindness. Calm in me awakens calm in others. Courage in me awakens courage in others. So our vibration is inviting a certain response. So the way people respond to you is the way that you are emitting your energy. That's the point. You can't say, oh, this is just happening to me. No. You are a shareholder in the energy that's coming to you. It's not coming from a vacuum. You have set something in force, right, in motion, and that is coming back to you. So why not to focus on the positive? Because we know it's going to come back. So even if we don't feel like it, why don't we try to just awaken the goodness in us, really, really try to stay positive, and then that is what is going to boomerang back. And then, of course, that builds another confidence, right? Because back to the rich, right? The rich always keep making more money because they think I'm rich, and they keep investing, they keep their money flowing, and so they become richer. And the same for winners, right? Like these players like Federer, Djokovic, why do they keep winning? Because they've won before and they have the confidence that, like, for example, yesterday the commentator was saying that in the last 20 years of Djokovic's matches, he's never lost a match when he's won the first two sets. So when you've won the first two sets, he always ends up winning. So he's got that confidence in him, right? That I can do it, right? Because he's done it before. So this is the thing. We have to build the confidence in us that our virtues can work for us. So here's another, yeah. So again, he's so like, bandaged, but what's his attitude? I feel great. I feel great. I feel great. Okay. Okay. So something else. When I'm using my words, I really have to observe the energy behind my words. It's not just the words. Like sometimes we say, okay, take care. But do we really mean it? Or is it just lip service? In the same way, I'm happy for you, right? So I'm happy for you. So is that really happy? Or am I jealous? Or am I resentful that you got it or you were, successful? Like I said earlier, people feel the vibration more than they hear the sentence. So again, we can't say, no, it's them, it's not me. You just heard it like that. No. And this is my thing. One of my latest things is like, call it for what it is. If you're jealous, you're jealous. If you're unhappy, you're unhappy. Right? If you're arrogant, you're arrogant. Just call it for what it is, because in that moment of honesty, I can then begin to open the doors to some change. But if I'm in denial of what it is, then there's not going to be any change. Okay? Okay. So, yeah, how to raise our vibration. So I've already kept mentioning, and I'm reiterating, that we are the creators of our reality by the quality of our thoughts that we create. So raising our vibration means to always try and stay positive, happy, generous, kind, benefactor, all these other high quality titles that Baba gives us. So this is really useful, and I have it in a few places for myself because it's a really good reminder. And I've shown it before, but it's just really a good reminder because we really want to stay in high energy mode. So this is created by David R. Hawkins, and it's from his book, Power versus Force. And he's come up with these, let's say, he calls them emotions. And look at the highest one, when I'm enlightened. It's a vibration of 700 to 1,000. So you kind of have to get beyond here, which is beyond 175. And you start having courage. So courage is where you kind of kick out of these kind of negative emotions, kick yourself out of that, to rise above it, to take courage. And then, willing acceptance. Even love is a vibrational energy of 500. So again, just take a moment now and, when you are, spiritual love, not romantic love, but when you are in that spiritual love state and you really just love everyone and you don't have anything against anyone. Like, what's that feeling? It's liberating. You feel full, like able. You feel energetic, but energetic in the sense of enthusiastic. You're willing, right? It's not you want to go sit in a corner. You want to engage, right? So it's just that quality, but because it's all in and around you, then that in itself is the vibration. The vibration is that will to then want to do other things. Now, again, talking to somebody yesterday who was with us, he also feels that in this day and age, the young generation have lost some of this will, and they're not enthusiastic as, say, we might have been in our 20s or 30s. And he's from the world, and he notices that as he meets people, as he goes around to coach them. Like, they'll do a bit, and there's just no start up and go. It's like they're very good at giving ideas, they're very smart, but to kickstart them, it's very difficult. So where's the will, right? Where's the enthusiasm? Where's that kind of focus to really want to do something? And it's not there because I think it's about vibration. There's no sense of purpose. There's no motivation. Okay, so that's really good. Okay, so the way we see ourselves silently communicates what we believe we deserve. The way we see ourselves silently communicates to the world, the universe, what we believe we deserve, what we are open to receive, and how we allow others to treat us. So yeah, this is all about self-worth and believing in yourself. So the first paragraph of Avyak Murli's is all about Baba boosting our sense of self, trying to make us see who we are, waking us up from that amnesia of just our current, day to day. It seems so mundane, maybe what we're doing, but Baba is waking us up to who we were 5,000 years ago. Now, when we talk about this law of attraction and wanting something, right? It's more than just, let me finish this first. So it's more about believing in yourself that I deserve. So yeah, often we talk of parking spots, right? Or let's say a seva opportunity or any meeting with a senior or whatever. Like when you start to feel that I'm worthy of it, I can, not from a place of ego, but a place of, yeah, I'd like to serve Baba in this way. Then how can it not come to you? Because the universe is saying, okay, give it to this one because they know what to do with it. They've already thought about it. They will put it right. Okay? So that leads us on to this law of resonance, which I've been talking about, but let's just go into detail a bit. So resonance is derived from the Latin, which means resonare, which means to echo. So some echo coming back. So you're sending something out and something is coming back. So resonance is the state of alignment and interconnectedness where vibrational frequencies match. Now, one important point here. So life doesn't always respond to what we want, right? Not what we want. It often responds to what we are consistently. It's the way we see ourselves. It's going back to the consciousness that I hold. So if I'm constantly radiating paucity, scarcity, right? Paucity is when I feel I don't have enough. Scarcity, same thing, similar thing. When I'm complaining, right? And look at our face, what happens when we're complaining. We're upset, we're angry. When I'm judging, when I'm feeling insecure. Then when I'm radiating that most of the time, then I will begin to see more of that in my life. Because that is what law of resonance is. That is what is going to echo back to you. But if I'm radiating appreciation, generosity, the sense of I have enough, I'm full, everything's always working out for me, then it does work out for you and you begin to attract more of that in your life. It's resonating back. So back to what I was saying about Brahmins and money. And I think that Brahmins think that we have to give up everything. We don't need the money. We have to live simple lives. But that's also not the right attitude. Why can't you have the money and then say, yes, let the money flow and I will put it to good use? Not have this mental barrier in accepting things or not have the guilt of accepting things because somewhere we can use it for Baba's work, right? So as soon as we say we don't want, then we are blocking that energy. So really let people give, let people bring. And even if it's not good for you, then go give it to the charity shop. But, don't say no. And I mean, of course, if somebody's bringing you their old drug or something, you say, sorry, yeah, we don't need that. But in general, yeah, if people have a good heart and want to give, then you have to uphold that bhavna, right? You all understand bhavna. So if people are wanting to give for something, then we are very conscious here to make sure that that money goes to that thing. So let's say somebody says, please give it. I'm giving this money for bhog. Okay. Somebody said, I want you to buy a buggy. So we said, okay. Or somebody says, please give some, put some good mattresses. We say, okay. Because that is their bhavna, you see? So we have to at least buy a few mattresses to fulfill their bhavna. Do you get it? So anyway, that aside, but I'm just saying that, yeah, what are you radiating? That's the question. And you will be radiating based on what you're thinking all the time. So if you say, I'm full, I'm abundant, I'm great, I have self-worth, then yeah, that's what comes back. So yeah, here are some points, some slogans of how to create a high vibration, right? So the highest vibration is a clean heart, because in a clean heart, you don't hold anything. You don't hold anything impure for anybody. Even if they've done something, you've let it go. And you just keep your heart clean. So yeah, be genuine, authentic, cherish positivity. So in other words, find a way, right? Find a way to turn it around and make it positive. Even if you know somebody's being sly or smart or, trying to, we say, put a rug over you, just give them the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, forgive quickly, keep your intellect clean, bless every person silently. So you don't have to say it to them, but in your mind. And many times, when it's somebody's birthday, then does that blessing come naturally? That they are, whatever, such a beautiful soul, a pleasant soul, or do you have to think hard to find their quality? Speak gently. I say that only because just to slow down, not to have haste, because in haste, then we make a lot of mistakes. So just take your time with stuff. Yeah, be kind, go slow. Positive circles. Positive circles is about keeping good company that's going to also uplift you, right? So not a circle of people who want to sit and criticize and gossip. Look for virtues, whether it's in people or in things, positive attributes, and of course, yoga, meditation. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and then I'd like 5-7 minutes, Maria, at the end to do a meditation with some of the affirmations. So I have more slides on the affirmation. So I think we in good time, right?
Yes.
So anyway, so the main point of what I'm trying to say is you, with your power of thought, power of mind, keep your vibration high, because it is a law that, yeah, it's not just a karmic law, it's the law of attraction, it's the law of resonance. Whatever you send out is what comes back to you. So then you are self-responsible. You cannot say it's happening to me. You take charge of your life. You take charge of what's coming to you. And then you see what you want to do with it. But the main thing is, yeah, you are the master and you can dictate.
Thank you, Aruna, so much. Everything was so perfect for all of us. I think we should check ourselves where we are and how much positivity we spread around us. I don't see any questions, but I think there must be some questions. I don't see any here, but usually they come after. I was looking at this slide with this person at the hospital with all these wrapped up with band-aid. I remembered one brother. I don't want to mention his name, but he was in a very bad condition, his health. And when I heard about it, I called him, and he was telling me, I'm happy, and he was laughing. And a few days after, he left the body. But this has struck me, and also now I still remember that. His face was really happy. He was not just saying, I'm happy, but he could radiate that. And whenever I'm in some difficult situation, he comes into my mind just to change the way I see things. But yes, about positivity, there are some people that are not very positive, and there are some who are very positive, and even if something bad happens into their life, they're happy. But how can we stay happy when the situation is very difficult, like the brother who was leaving the body? How can we, what is missing in us that we cannot feel that for ourselves?
Yes, so yeah, so we have to become embodiments of the knowledge. We're lacking the knowledge.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
because, and again, I think it was in the Sunday Murli, where we're not understanding. I think even Jayanti took that up. I mean, it's because we're not understanding what Baba's saying that there's a gap. There's a gap in our understanding, and therefore a gap in that effort. And then, of course, we feel weak, and then we get disturbed or shaken. But if I can take the time to spend my time going, it's not even a whole Murli, but just take any point, and can I go into the depth of it? Can I churn that point enough to extract its juice and really digest that juice and make it a part of me. And then that point becomes, so, okay, a death, now we know, right? The soul is eternal, they move on. And so we accept that it's time. That's what Baba said, not yesterday, that if somebody dies, that was the extent of their time with us, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah, so then who is he saying that to? He's saying that to us. So I have to somehow really, make it mine. And that's what's missing, I think. I think Dadi Janki had once said, she said, there's not a single point from the Murli that I have not practiced. Even things like going to the temple, giving, the gyan. So she's taken a line from every Murli and practiced it. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Yes, daddy also. We are not daddies, but we learn many things from the daddies. We learn many things.
But we learn what worked, and we take inspiration from what has worked. That's the point. Yeah.
Exactly. So there is a question here: how to change the habit to think negative or vibrate low vibe, because that also affects yoga. So how
Yeah.
to change the
So
habit? Okay.
why I emphasize this sense of self, the self-esteem, the self-belief is so important, the self-worth, because I don't want to do that to myself. I don't want to bring myself down into that energy. So even if somebody is being negative and critical and nasty, but I don't want to go there. So if you can't manage it, maybe you step away for a little while, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, whatever, or a few moments. Just step away from that. And you just stay in your kind of positive frame of mind, knowing who you are. But there's no point bringing ourselves down because, again, the time and energy and effort it's going to take to bring myself up again, it's not worth it. So I don't want to do that to myself. And this is an act of self-love where I'm not going to be spiraled down into that kind of depressive state. So that's what I'm saying. You have to think of you upholding your honor. I'm upholding my honor while I do that for myself, not for anybody else. Do you see? I mean, all this effort, Maria, we're not making for anybody else. We're making for ourselves, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So then it's all to uplift me, to elevate me, to purify me. So now if I'm taking that poison and holding on to it and thinking, oh, this is what they said. I mean, I'm holding on to the poison. This is what we say about or lack of forgiveness, right? We say, I'm taking the poison and expecting them to die because I'm holding on to something they've done and I'm not forgiving and letting go and letting them go, but I'm holding on to it. And therefore, I'm going to be the one to die because I will be poisoned by it. I'll be poisoned by that negative, whatever, energy, poison. Yeah. So I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope, the sister who wrote this question, I hope she got her answer. So that is something which probably I don't understand it. So what is obstacle for the Brahmins who are taught by the highest frequency? I don't know. I don't understand.
Maybe it's just a statement, right? What are
Probably,
obstacles for?
yeah. Probably, yeah. So you said you need 7 minutes. 7 minutes we have now
Okay.
until we finish.
Okay. So nothing else, right? Well, I mean, 5 minutes, but is there anything else?
No, I don't see any questions. These are the questions.
Okay.
There was only one question.
Okay. Okay. So let me So I don't think we have music, right? So the other aspect to all of this is then the affirmations that I'm creating to keep my life elevated, okay, and to keep attracting the best in my life. Because if I'm vibrating on a high frequency, then I'm attracting only the best to me. And so for that, there are some, as I said, some positive affirmations for raising vibration. So I was thinking we could just silently, I will read one and we can think about it and try and digest it. Then I'll move on to the next and the next. Okay?
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So Baba is my supply, and for every demand, there is ample supply. For my every demand, there is ample supply. Baba, drama, my good karma opens the way for the right space, apartment, building. So if you are looking for some center or space, you just keep repeating this. Baba, drama, my good karma opens the way for the right space. And you just stay positive and powerful as you say this. The energy I give to the world returns to me multiplied with blessings. So just imagine all the energy that you have given. There are many instruments here. Just imagine all that has already been returned to you multiple times in the form of blessings. And those blessings have probably helped you through times of difficulty, or they've made a mountain into a molehill without you or I even knowing. All that is mine by divine right comes to me easily. All that is mine by divine right comes to me easily. So no one can take anything away from your good karma. Whatever is due to you will come to you. And so just rest assured in that faith. In fact, I was reading something and she was saying that fear is faith in evil. Fear is faith in evil. But we need to have faith in Baba. Everything comes to me easily. My thoughts are filled with love, my words carry kindness, and my actions create harmony. My thoughts are filled with love. I forgive easily. I let go peacefully. And I move forward freely. So again, just rest in the knowledge of the drama, that whatever was meant to be happened, and I'm just ready to forgive and let go. My presence is a gift. Wherever I go, I bring calmness and positivity. So again, just believe in yourself. And wherever you go, even if it's on the bus or the train, my presence is a gift. Wherever I go, I bring calmness and positivity. My heart is pure. My intentions are sincere. And my vibration uplifts others. So as I said, pure heart is the highest vibration. I'm connected to infinite wisdom, and the right thoughts come to me at the right time. So again, to just trust. I'm connected to infinite wisdom, Baba, the infinite wisdom, and the right thoughts come to me at the right time.